It's Friday, October 3rd. In the headlines, public education in focus for Cybersecurity Month. The private sector organization of Jamaica, PBCJ, partners with Digitopia to boost AI readiness in Jamaican businesses. Regionally, Barbados-Guyana ferry planned with a fare cap. And in sports, Warrican urges improvement after West Indies' collapse on day 1 of Test series against India. This is the weekend news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. October is Cybersecurity Month. Director of Jamaica's Cyber Incident Response Team, Lieutenant Colonel retired Godfrey Sterling, says the aim is to highlight cyber risks and threats, share safety tips and best practices, and promote careers in cybersecurity. He was speaking at this week's post-cabinet press brief.
How do you treat with simple things like your own cyber hygiene or cyber delinquency, your own devices, and what practices do you take into the workplace and how those practices impact the delivery of secure services and the creation of data-safe spaces?
Week 1 will focus on the public sector.
And here we're looking primarily at the medium, small, and micro enterprises, recognizing that for a lot of these enterprises, cybersecurity for them is still the concept, it will not happen to me. But as we look to leverage technology, a lot of these entities are doing PCI type data collection. So you go, you use a card or you use your phone to pay for services and goods. They're taking that information, they're storing it, sometimes in very insecure manners. And so what we're trying to do is to bring them on board so that they appreciate cost-effective and sometimes free services that can help them to improve the security of your data.
Week 2 will see the focus shifting to the private sector.
We've started this with the Ministry of National Security with our community cyber programs, and we've had 2 so far. 1 in Kingston, 1 in Montego Bay. What we found during these things was that there are a lot of members of the communities who don't really appreciate what cybersecurity does for them and the secure use of technology, as well as the secure provision of their data and their rights as data subjects. So we're bringing the Office of the Information Commission on board. We're working with the Ministry of National Security, and we're taking cybersecurity to the communities.
The month is being observed under the global theme, Secure Our World, and the national theme, Secure Today, Smarter Tomorrow, which is especially fitting for the focus of the final 2 weeks and plans moving forward. Beginning October 20, JCERT will spotlight education and youth with special emphasis on Cybersecurity Career Awareness Week.
And we started looking at the primary level. And the idea here is that the next generation of cyber professionals, warriors, are not people who look like me, not even people who look like you. They're the toddlers who are running around with the little blocks and the phones, they're taking your phones, they're using their tablets. Those are the next generation of cyber professionals.
The final week, commencing October 27, will concentrate on national security and critical infrastructure, featuring advanced simulations and strategic exercises to test and strengthen key systems. The private sector organization of Jamaica, PBCJ, has announced a strategic partnership with global transformation firm Digitopia, aimed at enhancing artificial intelligence readiness across the local business landscape. The initiative offers both PBCJ members and non-members access to a free, abbreviated digital and AI maturity assessment, a 20-minute survey designed for businesses with 10 or more employees, regardless of industry. Each participating company will receive a personalized confidential report benchmarking their digital and AI capabilities against international standards. The assessment evaluates 3 core business areas: customer, operations, and technology, and incorporates integrated AI maturity insights. Businesses that complete the survey before October 15 will also be eligible for a free consultation with a Digitopia expert. The survey will remain open until November 30, with early findings to be presented at an upcoming Inter-American Development Bank Forum for Jamaican corporates in early November. Major changes are now in effect for motorists. Jamaica's vehicle fitness and registration system has gone fully digital. Paper certificates and decals are no longer required. Instead, drivers will receive fitness certificates electronically. The Island Traffic Authority says the upgrade will make the process faster, safer, and more convenient. In part 2 of this feature, we explore more on how to navigate the new e-fitness system.
Things have changed when it comes to motor vehicle fitness and registration. It's all gone digital. No more paper, no more decal. And we're here to help you navigate this new process. Let's say your vehicle didn't meet the standard and it failed the inspection.
The examiner will annotate the defects that you would need to treat with, and you are encouraged to retain your certificate of fitness fee, the receipt that you have, so that when you do the repairs and come back, you don't have to pay another fee. This is a one-time situation for you, so on the first instance, if you fail and you maintain your receipt, then upon your remedying the faults, then we will go ahead, do the check, and if you pass at that time, an e-certificate will be issued to you.
Now let's talk validity. That is how long your certificate lasts before your next inspection.
For a new vehicle that is being registered for the first time in Jamaica, you will be given a certificate of fitness for 5 years. For vehicles that are used and are 10 years and younger, you will get a certificate of fitness issued to you for 3 years. Vehicles over 10 years will get a certificate of fitness for 1 year. For commercial and PPV vehicles, new vehicles that are bought and again registered for the first time in Jamaica for commercial purpose, a new vehicle will get 3 years, and a vehicle that is being registered that is under 10 years or less will have a certificate of fitness validity period of 1 year. Now, please note that if for some unfortunate reason a new vehicle has a crash and there is significant structural damage, upon inspection by the examiner at the Island Traffic Authority Service Hub, a determination is made as to the extent of the damage and the validity period for the certificate of fitness, because you would recognize that the integrity of that vehicle would have been affected and therefore there is a greater need for more frequent inspection of that vehicle.
So remember, the fitness process has gone digital, but support is always available. Visit the Island Traffic Authority's website at mtm.gov.jm/ITA.
In the business report, VM Investments Limited has advised of the appointment of Mr. Dennis G. Cohen as director of the company, effective October 1, 2025. One-on-One Educational Services Limited has advised that Mrs. Karen Vaz tendered her resignation as director and consequently as chairperson of the Remuneration Subcommittee, effective August 31, 2025. Palace Amusement Company 1921 Limited has advised that at a meeting of the Board of Directors held on July 8, 2025, Mr. David Allen, Chief Executive Officer of Info Exchange Limited, was appointed a director of the company. Salada Foods Jamaica Limited has advised of the appointment of Mr. Michael Murray as Financial Controller, effective October 1, 2025. Barita Investments Limited has officially launched its flagship analyst program, Analyze and Rise, an 18-month journey to develop Jamaica's next generation of financial leaders. Following weeks of nationwide promotion and a highly competitive selection process that attracted over 200 applications, 5 young professionals have begun hands-on rotations, executive mentorship, and strategic project work. Additionally, CIBC Caribbean launched the Chief Commercial Office Immersion Program with 6 newest trainees. The CCO Immersion is an intensive 18-month training program designed to attract talent to CIBC Caribbean's corporate and personal and business banking segments. Through immersion experience with coaching, exposure to various aspects of the bank under the guidance of mentors. Upon completion of the program, graduates are offered permanent roles in the bank. Now for a report on the market highlights from Denise Williams.
For the trading period ending October 2, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 3,980,118 units traded, representing 26.86% of market sales volume. Investment finance firm Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial shares of 2,132,743 units traded, representing 14.39% of market sales volume. Fiberglass manufacturer JFP Limited shares of 1,738,582 units traded, representing 11.73% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On October 2, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $51.72 million purchased and US $48.41 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.96 per dollar, selling the US at $161.36 and buying the US at $159.40. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $4.54 per transaction, with selling at $117.23 and buying at $112.69. The British pound yielded Forex traders $2.90 in profits, with selling at $217.18 and buying at $214.28. For the credit report tip of the day, every dream costs money. Whether it's launching a business, buying a property, or building an investment portfolio, you need capital to make it real. But before a bank or investor hands you $1, they check one thing first: your credit report. It's not a side detail. It's the first test of whether your ambition is just talk or if you're ready for funding. Now, when you're building something from nothing and you're moving from financial recovery to resilience and beyond in your financial life, don't wait for the perfect time to build wealth. Create it now. For professional women over the age of 45, the smartest strategy is to blend the security of a full-time job with the high earning potential of seasonal work. By stacking opportunities like real estate, insurance, and tax preparation on top of your career, you can generate extra income, strengthen financial resilience, and turn every season into a wealth building season. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. We'll see you soon.
In regional news, a fare under $100 per trip is the target set by regional leaders as they move to introduce sea transport between Barbados and Guyana, with possible stops in between. A vessel has already been identified to handle cargo on the route, and the plan now includes the movement of people as well. The initiative is one of the key outcomes of the recently concluded CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in Jamaica, where leaders discussed practical solutions to improve regional connectivity. The details were revealed at a press conference hosted by Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kerry Simmons.
The intention is to have a connectivity across the island chain. So, for example, that those products which may be brought from Guyana to Barbados may now then be carried also to St. Vincent, may also be carried to Dominica. The intention, however, is to go beyond just moving cargo. We also want to find a way of moving people and to move people at inexpensive rates. So, for example, the businessman in Dominica who wishes to obtain some supplies from a hardware store in Barbados may wish to drive his van onto a ferry and be able to bring that van to Barbados. He drives in from point to point in Barbados, collects the things that he wants, drives back onto a ferry and goes back home. It is a concept which is now very common in Europe, where they have succeeded in deepening their integration movement. As we have now come to the point of deepening ours in similar capacity, there are some things, obviously, therefore, that we now have to do. So we have already identified what are called RoPax vessels, where you roll on, roll off. And for those people who have seen it in operation between Trinidad and the island of Tobago, you would have seen vehicles being rolled onto a ferry, and you drive across, and you drive into Tobago, do whatever you have to do, and you go back to Trinidad. That is an example of what it is that we are trying to be able to achieve. Now, discussions with the Caribbean Private Sector Organization indicate that they are on board. The discussions now turn on how we can drive the costs down, and the ambition is to have those costs per person well beneath 100 United States dollars per trip, and therefore making access between the islands far more competitive for a wider swath of people than they now are. Obviously, this is a process that is going to require substantial work over the course of the next few weeks, and for my sins, I have been named as the lead foreign minister on this matter, together with my sister Camina Johnson-Smith from Jamaica, who will be dealing primarily with the Northern Caribbean. The intention is for us to begin down here in the Southern Caribbean. We want to clear a few obvious obstacles, and I'm very happy to entertain you on some dialogue on this matter. There has to be clearly enhanced port facility, or alternatively, as we now have achieved it, free movement at ports of entry. There must also be a mutual recognition of vehicle registration in different countries. In similar vein, we have to be able to make sure that our driver's permits or driver's licenses are mutually recognized across participating member states. In similar vein, we also have to make sure that vehicle insurance policies are harmonized as best as practicable.
President Irfan Ali has assured the business community that Guyana's oil wealth will be managed responsibly with a strong emphasis on national development and long-term sustainability. Speaking at a recent meeting with top business executives, President Ali emphasized that a key priority for his administration will be the strategic use of oil revenues to invest in critical infrastructure. News source Guyana's Gordon Mosley reports that President Ali also reaffirmed his administration's commitment to ensuring that oil revenues are used in a way that benefits current and future generations.
Addressing the meeting, which was hosted by the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, the president said while Guyana is cementing its place as an oil-producing country, it has taken notes from other countries that were in a similar position and may have lost their way. He said issues such as corruption, the Dutch disease, and widening the income gap between the rich and the poor will be tackled head-on to ensure Guyana does not suffer a similar fate.
That is why transparency, accountability, and prudent governance are non-negotiable. That is why the Natural Resource Fund exists, to ensure that this blessing does not become a burden. As we spend today, we must also save for tomorrow. Oil may enrich a nation, but if mismanaged, it can impoverish us.
President Ali said while the government has to play its part, the business community has a greater role to play in creating opportunities for citizens.
Because no matter how well we save or how wisely we manage, it is business that transforms wealth into work, into commerce, into opportunity. And the government role is to create that enabling environment. The government role is to develop the policy framework that support the expansion of businesses, that support innovation, that support transformation, and that support quality jobs.
And the president also told business leaders that there must be regular and greater collaboration between the government and businesses to drive economic activity and create an environment for all citizens to thrive. He said the government will support the creation and establishment of new industries and new businesses that are sustainable and can drive the country's economy.
The beating heart of any economy is the business community. Oil is opening doors, yes, but we must not be content with simply walking through those doors. We must build new ones. That is why we're embracing bold and innovative ideas like Silica City, developing a tourism sector that will be second to none.
He also noted that while there are good signs and notable progress, the real test remains as to how the oil revenue will be converted into engines of growth for the wider economy.
We open our sports report with the latest cricket news. Obviously, we have to improve. Those words from the West Indies vice captain Jamel Warrican. His comment came after India dismissed the West Indies for 162 and then turned the screw with the bat on day one of the first test on Thursday. The hosts were 121 for 2 at the stumps, with KL Rahul unbeaten on 53 at the world's biggest cricket stadium in Ahmedabad. A depleted West Indies made few runs, but the Indian attack struck regular blows to bowl out the visitors in 44.1 overs in the second session. Speaking after the match, the West Indies vice-captain said, quote, "We, as a batting unit, have to come together to score more runs on the board," end quote. Now on to football, as it was a thrilling final day for CONCACAF Caribbean Cup Group B action on Wednesday, with 3 teams vying for a second-place finish, which would mean qualification for the semi-finals. The Defense Force were hoping to claim that distinction when they met Cibao FC of the Dominican Republic. Adrian Lazar brings us the highlights from those matches.
After a disappointing draw at home to Weymouth Wales FC, the Defense Force, who took on Cibao FC away, needed a positive result along with other results going in their favour to book themselves a place in the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup semi-finals. It was a dream start for the away team when Captain Kevin Molino saw an adventurous low-driven strike squeeze past Miguel Lloyd, the Cibao keeper, into the bottom left corner. 1-0 Defense Force in the second minute. Cibao nearly responded with the spectacular when a bicycle kick from Cesarine Ortiz went high over the goal.
Chance for a bicycle kick.
Ortiz came again when this first-time shot struck the crossbar.
Now. Opportunity here to cut it back at the edge of the box. First-time strike hits the crossbar.
There would be no more goals in the first half, with Defense Force going in at the break leading 1-0.
That's the end of our first 45 minutes. From Santiago de los Caballeros, it's the home side who were...
Kazim Keller doubled the lead for Defense Force when a deflected free kick found its way in the net in the 47th minute.
And it's in!
2-0 to Defense Force is how the game would finish at the end of 90 minutes.
That will do it from Estadio Cibao, the visitors. A 2-0 victory.
A result that sees the Defense Force qualify for the semi-finals, virtue a second-place finish. The servicemen finished level on 7 points with Weymouth Wales, but remained on top the Barbados team due to a superior goal difference. Joining them in the semis is Cibao FC, who topped Group B on 9 points, while defending champions Cavalier FC and Juventus de Escayes joined Weymouth as part of the eliminated teams. The Defense Force will now face Jamaican opponents Mount Pleasant FC in a 2-legged semi-final on October 22nd and 29th, with Cibao playing O&M FC in semi-final number 2. The winners will move on to the final, while the losers will compete for third place. Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.
Following their advancement to the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup semi-final, Defense Force captain Kevin Molino praised his team's attack-minded approach, while adding that there is still room for improvement.
You know, we have to win. Away from home, a difficult place. I think behind the 3 games we played, we let ourselves down, and I think we approach was different tonight in terms of playing on the front foot. And you see, when we play on the front foot and believe, we can do great things, and we're just happy for the win, happy for the 3 points, and hopefully we can move on. But all credit to the guys with the effort they give. All credit to the coaching staff. A big win, and they see we celebrating now. We qualify and we're moving on to the next stage, but we still have a lot of work to do, and we just want to continue working, and it's a work in progress, and we just want to continue working and trying to help each other to do something great.
And that's it for the weekend news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Remember, we are the People's Station.